Okay, guys, welcome back to a new video here. We got to talk about this. Cenk Uygur absolutely went in on Stephen A. Smith on Piers Morgan recently, and it was wild. I mean, first of all, you have Piers Morgan, and we'll show you the clips of this, basically touting Stephen A. Smith as a presidential candidate. And I'm sorry, that's just not going to happen in any sense of the world. The idea that Stephen A. Smith, the ESPN host, is going to be the president of the United States is completely insane. And a lot of the people pushing this, they're basically saying, oh, Trump was a celebrity, so Stephen A. Smith can be president as well. But it's completely insane. It's never going to happen. And we're going to talk about why that is. And Cenk Uygur absolutely went in on him. And some of the arguments Piers Morgan was making, basically talking about why Stephen A. Smith would be a good president, is just ridiculous. And just to be clear, Stephen A. Smith got on the political scene only in the last year or so. So the idea that Stephen A. Smith is going to be this great political candidate, and the way he's talking about it is so ridiculous. He's basically saying, yeah, if nobody of the other Democrats can do it, I'll do it. I know I can win. Brother, you would get absolutely destroyed. You would have no chance at being president. And of course, people like Donald Trump, for example, are basically saying, oh, Stephen, you should run for president. Yeah, no shit they're saying that, because they know they would absolutely destroy you if you'd ran for president. It would be a joke. You would have no chance at winning the presidency. It's completely absurd. And some of the arguments Piers is making, Stephen A. Smith isn't an elitist. Look at his roots. And he starts going in on, and we're talking about it too, we're going to show the clip, where basically Cenk Uygur is talking about Jon Stewart running for president. Oh, Jon Stewart would be a great candidate. And I agree. Jon Stewart is actually progressive, and he's actually gotten things done in terms of policy, pushing the 9/11 first responders bill, pushing Congress to pass that. And it succeeded. Stephen A. Smith has done nothing on that front. He's pushed no policies whatsoever. Jon Stewart has a track record of pushing policies and actually getting things done. He's just a celebrity. The idea that, and of course, Piers Morgan brings up, oh, Jon Stewart's an elitist. What has Jon Stewart said that's elitist in the past? Number two, Stephen A. Smith, is he not an elitist? He's in the New York media establishment, and we're going to talk about the Piers Morgan, the clip I'm going to show you. He literally says Stephen A. Smith is not a part of that. Brother, what are you talking about? Stephen A. Smith is basically a rich elitist from New York who is on ESPN making tens of millions of dollars each year. What are you saying? It makes absolutely no sense. Here's the clip, and we'll talk about it after. And guys, by the way, make sure to like and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. And Patreon and Amazon links are in the description as well. So, and drop a comment. I mean, it's super important for the algorithm, as you guys probably know by now. So check that out. Here's the clip, and we'll talk about it after.
End. Cenk, let me bring you in here. It's a really interesting debate for the soul of the Democrat Party. You've been immersed in this for quite a while now, and I think you've seen the way the wind was blowing way before a lot of people. But when you see someone like Stephen A. Smith, what do you think? I mean, I just think he's clearly flirting with this. He's getting more popular. I think people really like him. He's articulate. He's intelligent. He's strong. I see him standing up to LeBron James and stuff when they have spats or whatever. He's clearly got a fearless streak in him. Why not Stephen A. Smith?
Yeah. So I want to have a clarifying conversation here, and I want to offer you a better celebrity than Stephen A. Smith. Look, I got no problems with the brother, and I'm not trying to hate, okay? But, I mean, saying the first thing he'd do is economics. What does that mean? What's the policy behind economics? He said he checked with his pastor. I think it's more likely that he checked with his publicist. But it's okay. It's okay. God bless, to each his own, okay? So I'll get to the celebrity in a second. But, guys, there's three wings of the Democratic Party. It's driving me crazy that you all are talking about it in a way that makes no sense, and you lump in people that don't belong together. I get why. But so the three wings are what you guys keep talking about, radical left, woke left, whatever you want to call it, right? But then you got the establishment, and that's the part that you guys never talk about. So that's the Kamala Harris, Joe Biden. They're not woke. That's not their problem. Their problem is that they were elitists, served the donor class, or establishment figures. Hillary Clinton, same exact thing. Hillary wasn't woke at all. She was just establishment 101. Those are two different problems. Then there's a third wing that I'm in, which is economic populism, that Ro Khanna's in, Nina Turner's in. So Nina Turner brings in basically the black wing of the populist movement and talking about the freedom budget that the civil rights movement talked about. Why? It's an economic issue. It's about populism. It's about raising wages. So what do we focus on? How can the Democratic Party win? That's the most important thing. So higher wages, lower drug prices, lower housing prices, paid family leave, anti-war, money out of politics. These are all Democratic policies that are all intensely popular, over 2/3 for each one of those things. So, you know, we talk about, oh, Stephen A. Smith gets a lot of airtime. He does, but why? You know, you guys mentioned Wes Moore. Wes Moore's an incredibly charismatic guy. I'm not sure that's the candidate that I want, but I'd be open to it. But he just doesn't get enough airtime, right? Same thing for Ro Khanna, wonderfully articulate. Geraldo's complimented him in the past, and he's a really smart guy. But not just that. Then we've got some real populists like Richard Ojeda running in North Carolina 9. And he served 24 years in the Army, ain't nothing to do with woke. It's about delivering for the average American. But Piers, if we want to be obsessed with celebrities, why not Jon Stewart? Jon Stewart's the only celebrity who's actually gotten a bill passed when he wasn't even in Congress. It was spectacular. It was amazing. If I could take Stephen A. Smith's hype and his chutzpah and the way that he gets out there and runs to the spotlight and put it on Jon Stewart, we'd have a winning combination.
You know what I would say to that? And it's interesting. I love Jon Stewart. But I think if you walked around with Jon Stewart and Stephen A. Smith in LA or New York, you're right. Okay, the smart crowd would all rush up to Jon Stewart. You're the Messiah. If you took them both down to Florida, to Texas, to Alabama, right, to Middle America, if you took the pair of them down there, it would be the other way round. You would see the people on the streets resonating far more with Stephen A. Smith than they ever would with Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart, in a way, is a kind of elitist himself. I mean, he's brilliant, but he's part of the elite comedic establishment. He is. Come on, he's a multimillionaire
No,
comedian.
but then why isn't Stephen A. Smith elitist? No, you can't have
because
both ways.
I think the sport,
you can't say that Jon Stewart's elite
I'll tell you
because
why.
he's a
Because in a way,
celebrity,
if
but Stephen A. Smith isn't elite, even though he's a celebrity. That doesn't make any sense.
Because he commentates on a sport which is about as far from elitist in terms of where most of the players come from that you could imagine, right? Because they're mostly working class Americans.
There isn't one thing Jon Stewart has done that's elitist. There isn't one thing.
No, I think by definition, if you're part of
wonderful people,
I would say if you're part of the New York elite comedic TV set, you are by definition part of the.
Again, the way Piers Morgan ends it, oh, he's not an elitist. Once you go to Florida, people will resonate with Stephen A. Smith more than Jon Stewart. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? It's completely. They're both from New York, and Jon Stewart's upbringing, you think he's some rich elitist growing up? It's not true at all. So you have no idea what you're talking about, Piers Morgan. Ridiculous argument and completely. Basically debunking the point he's trying to make that Stephen A. Smith is a man of the people. Dude, this guy's a millionaire, and I'm not trying to crap on him either, like Cenk is saying. Listen, he's fine. He can give his political opinions and be in the political realm. That's totally fine. But the idea this guy is going to be the president is ridiculous. He would have no chance of winning. And if he does somehow win the Democratic nomination, he would get absolute. Could you imagine a J.D. Vance for Stephen A. Smith debate? I'm sorry, Stephen A. Smith would get absolutely pulverized. He's not Donald Trump. Donald Trump is way more popular than Stephen A. Smith was, especially when you look at Stephen A. Smith's sports takes. Some of his sports takes are absolutely horrendous. And he's talking about, Piers Morgan brings up how he stood up to LeBron James. What are you talking about? He got punked by LeBron James. He was talking about it and milking it for weeks on end. It was embarrassing, and everyone pretty much acknowledges this. So what are you saying, Piers Morgan? You have no idea what you're talking about on this front at all. At all. It's embarrassing. And if the Democrats' best bet is Stephen A. Smith, they're in big trouble. I can tell you that right now. The idea that Stephen A. Smith is going to resonate with normal Americans is ridiculous, more than Jon Stewart. Give me a break. Jon Stewart was pulverized Stephen A. Smith in a debate. He has no idea what he's doing. Jon Stewart knows way more about policy than Stephen A. Smith can ever imagine. And in the Piers Morgan interview with Stephen A. Smith said, yeah, I focus on the economy. No policy specifics, just, the economy. Yeah, no shit, Stephen A. Smith. That's what I would be focusing on as well. Ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. And again, Stephen A. Smith is trying to position himself as a sort of quote-unquote common sense Democrat, which you see a lot of Democrats doing, like Gavin Newsom, which I think is political suicide. I think he's going to get absolutely creamed the Democratic nomination. There's no way Gavin Newsom will be the Democratic nominee. Okay. And of course, people like Bill Maher are pushing him. Oh, but Stephen A. Smith, he's a common sense guy. This guy should be the nominee. Well, again, just to be clear, these are the same people. Chris Cuomo is another example. These are the same people, by the way, who think John Fetterman would be a great pick for the Democratic nomination, okay? So this is where these guys are at. So the idea that Stephen A. Smith is a valid candidate for the Democrats in 2028 is completely insane. And I'm sorry, the ego he's talking about, I would win. I know I'd win. I'd destroy these Democrats. They have no talent. What are you talking about? Wes Moore is an incredibly talented candidate. Josh Shapiro is a talented candidate. The idea that Stephen A. Smith would cream these guys in a debate, you're no Donald Trump, bro. You're no Donald Trump at all. At all. It's ridiculous. It's honestly infuriating when you see this stuff. But listen, if he wants to run for president, he has every right to do so. Let's see it. And if I'm wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong. But I just do not see it whatsoever. And Cenk brings up a number of good points here. Like, bro, yeah, you talk to your pastor, and that's why you're going to maybe run for president. Give me a break. Give me a break. And he's a good communicator, Stephen A. Smith. That's why he has a job on ESPN. Okay. The idea that this is going to be translatable to the political spectrum and actually resonate with American voters is ridiculous. What are you talking about? The people that are pushing Stephen A. Smith, Piers Morgan says, people are actually liking this because people like you and Bill Maher and Chris Cuomo are pushing it. Most people aren't actually seriously considering Stephen A. Smith for president. What are we talking about? I mean, it's honestly unreal when you see like some of the discourse we have here, which is why the political discourse in this country is just completely out of whack because these people are pushing Stephen A. Smith for president. I mean, what are we doing? This guy has no qualifications whatsoever for the position. I'm sorry, Stephen A. Smith for president? Wake up. It's embarrassing. Jon Stewart actually is push policy. He's pushed policy before. The idea that Stephen A. Smith would beat Jon Stewart in like in a Democratic primary is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's honestly infuriating when you see some of the discourse going on because, again, tens of millions of people watch Piers Morgan. They see this and they agree with Piers Morgan. Oh, Stephen A. Smith, this guy sounds reasonable. Yeah, because that's how he's trying to position himself. Oh, I'm a common sense Democrat. Give me a break. Everyone sees what you're doing. I mean, most people see what you're doing who actually follow politics. I don't know, guys. I just think it's ridiculous. If you agree with me, disagree with me, let me know what you think. But I do not see Stephen A. Smith as a valid candidate in the 2028 election. So that's what I got for you guys today. Again, hit the subscribe button. Make sure to like, make sure to comment. Let me know what you think. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you later.